okay, it is said that we do not have. So if you say there are no reported cases or there are no confirmed cases, does not mean that there are no existing cases. It's only those cases that present themselves to be tested or signs have been seen, symptoms and signs have been seen for that person to be taken for testing that are known to have the disease. All others that may not manifest symptoms and signs, okay, are silently spreading the disease wherever they are. So we do not, the numbers that are presently confirmed will not tell the true picture of what is actually really happening at the moment.
Dr. Ifeanyi, that's some big challenge. We really, because even developed countries are struggling with the many number of tests cases that they have on their hands. How do we go out of this problem in the immediate?
Amechi, in the immediate. First, the Federal Ministry of Health and the NCDC should take out a critical mass of medical laboratory workforce and train them. Two, the Federal Ministry of Health should drive the process of upscaling testing centers, upgrading some of our teaching hospitals to have capacity to test. You asked about...
Now, it depends on how long this upgrading will take.
You asked about cost. Currently, because of what we have, what was bequeathed us by donation, we are using the real-time quantitative PCR. There are other screening methods. What can we do? When you train this medical laboratory workforce, you will have a cohort of the group develop an algorithm that will support screening, massive screening. Screening should not be made to look like a thing that is exotic, that can only be gifted to privileged persons who are now down. Now, if you go to Sweden, they have the drive-through screening method. If you go to South Korea, drive-through, just like
you stay your vehicle.
No, yes, like you go to some eateries, they have a
drive-through. You buy wine inside your vehicle.
That same model, wine inside your vehicle, you are sampled and you drive away. You are not sick. You see, the testing will help us fully characterize the pandemic status in Nigeria. Like Dr. Robertson said, we do not really know the prevalence of COVID-19 in Nigeria because you are basing your prevalence, your incidence rate on the privileged few that have been tested. No, that is not how to do disease containment. In the US, the drive-through process is on. In South Korea, it helped them keep incidence rates very low and it declined. In China, it's been practiced. Dr. Robertson talked about fumigation. I rather support him, but would insist that decontamination would work better because we are dealing with virus and we also know the kind of thing in parentheses we call fumigation in Nigeria. Now, having said
those fumigations, are they strong enough to
the one we do here in offices and schools, yes. that is a deception. It's cosmetic. Watch what countries that have been able to keep this virus low.
But sometimes that's not enough to deal with insects and rodents.
Yes, they are strong to. Let me tell you, you see, I would rather emphasize repetitious hand washing than the business boom we're given to hand sanitizers. You are dealing with a virus, and you are using an alcohol base as what you want to use to destroy virus. Those who understand the language I speak will know.
We are told that 99.9% of germs, at least on the bottles.
No, that is the gimmick for selling that product. Every rounded microbiologist knows the effect of alcohol on virus and does know the chemicals that have capacity to destroy virus. So, but for me, it is promoting hand hygiene, and that is very, very good.
A cheaper method.
Well, it's not cheaper than washing your hands.
No, I mean washing of hands is cheaper
and it's more affordable, and it can be done everywhere. A repetitious wash, even if you wash every 30 minutes or 1 hour.
With soap, ordinary soap or antiseptic.
No soap. You see, the point need to be made that why we strongly feel we have issues with this is because of inadequate testing. Now, I talked about developing an algorithm. A few medical lab scientists and some other scientists could sit and look at all the testing options available now and develop algorithm and use cost to determine what we can fully encourage, promote, and deploy for basic screening, so we can commence somewhat drive-through screening. People will tell you, oh, it's not good to screen the population. It is very important to do a massive screening of the population. It fully characterizes the pandemic. Without a full characterization of the pandemic, we may be playing with a time bomb. And the reason for this is that since more than 2 decades now, there's been a concerted effort to destroy our medical laboratory system and structure. And the point need be made that while we have occupied the rock bottom 182 out of 184 countries in the world that are ranked annually in the last 2 decades,
In terms of
health system ranking, is because the strongest link of any health system is the medical laboratory structure and network, and that is not.
That's a diagnosis level.
Exactly.
Now let me see if Dr. Roberts, a medical biochemist who support what he just gave out, because it's very essential. We need to give out the right information. That washing of hands with soap and water, running water, of course, could be more effective than hand sanitizers.
Thank you very much, Amachi. There are standard protocols, for these processes. So soap and running water, okay, number one. Okay, soap and running water, number one. Number two, in the absence of soap and running water, okay, because you may not have access to soap and running water, public space, right, on the road. So hand sanitizers, alcohol-based hand sanitizers containing a minimum of 75% alcohol, okay, and other antibacterial, antiviral agents like hydrogen peroxide, for instance, a significant, maybe 0.125% of hydrogen peroxide and 75% alcohol, absolute alcohol or isopropyl alcohol is sufficient, okay, and adequate to inactivate and destroy the virus. So 75% alcohol and above is sufficient to destroy most bacteria and most viruses. Okay, in the absence of soap and running water, hand sanitizers containing alcohol, okay, is sufficient until you get to a point where you can wash your hands with soap and running water. So that is the fact, and that is what has been validated by WHO. So we must emphasize that in the absence, when you're not in your home or in your office where you can have access to soap and running water, you must resort to means of sanitizing your hand with alcohol-based solution. And additionally, you must clean surfaces, okay, that you constantly come in contact with alcohol-based disinfectants. Okay, that's sufficient, okay, to inactivate and destroy.
Now, so much emphasis on alcohol-based hand sanitizers. We have seen citizens who wash their hands with alcohol from beer bottle. Are they enough, or are the ones that are brewed in Bayelsa and environs, the local gin ogogoro, could they also serve as alternatives, better alternatives?
Let's be absolutely clear that you need a minimum, okay, of 70%. Okay, if you take a bottle of beer that has maybe about between 6 and 12% of alcohol, it's ineffective. You're just wasting your time. So for you to be able to inactivate and destroy the virus, you need a minimum of 70% concentration, 70% of alcohol, 30% of water, minimum. Okay, so anything that is less than that may not have the sort of activity against bacteria and viruses, as we know it.
The local gin, the ogogoro that is brewed everywhere, can it serve as an alternative?
The local gin that is brewed everywhere, I mean, you do not have means of knowing exactly what proportion of alcohol or ethanol is in that local gin. Okay, so if it is sufficiently concentrated up to about 70%, which I doubt, we have the capacity to, okay, then it becomes less and less effective as the concentration of alcohol, reduces. But the more the concentration of alcohol, the better, the more effective it is. Like I said, it's a minimum of 70% alcohol. If you go less than that, then you may not have, the desired effect.
Now, another quick clarification. Some people are drowning themselves with alcohol. without perception that it will deal with the virus within their system?
No, that's it to killing the virus, because you cannot reach it. The virus it has a predilection for respiratory surfaces. So it attaches to your respiratory receptors, and you cannot put alcohol in your lungs. If you put alcohol in your lungs, you're killing yourself.
Okay.
So it's kind of
because the virus actually attacks the lungs. That's the first organ it targets.
The receptors, it has a predilection for receptors in the respiratory tract. Okay, from the upper respiratory tract all the way down to the lower respiratory tract, which includes your lungs and alveoli. So that is where most of the viruses will attach, and the effect, okay, the effect that it causes comes out as a result of its predilection for the respiratory tract. That's why you need, the process of taking care of patients who have this disease, severe or moderate cases, you need to help, with respiration. Ventilators are required. Okay, so it's counterproductive for you to drink alcohol or to drown yourself in alcohol, and then you say you're trying to protect yourself against the virus.
Now let's share. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's share this information. Just filtering in. Nigeria has recorded its first deaths due to coronavirus. The confirmation coming through from the Center for Disease Control. The rumor has been there, but we didn't want to share with you that Nigeria has recorded first casualty arising from complications of coronavirus disease. Now, not confirmed yet, but an old citizen, a retiree for one of the government agencies, one of the top government parastatals, who returned from the United Kingdom, who has been on self-isolation before he developed complications. Now, the report out there unconfirmed is that he could not access treatment, and perhaps confirmation from the Center for Disease Control. Possibly, we need to confirm that from them before we could say for certainty. But it throws up again the ability of Nigeria as a nation, taking a look at this equipment on ground for quick tests and confirmation of cases.
Amechi. Now, what is very difficult in having a sampling point as part of the port health protocol for people who are coming into the country? They may need not be tested with real-time quantitative PCR, but it's important that they be screened, laboratory-based screening, and that can be done as I speak to you. I have said several testing options, some screening, some confirmatory. Why are we limiting our option to the confirmatory one? Because by the time the disease progresses to a point where yes, it will be confirmed, like the Enugu case, what will kill more Nigerians is not COVID virus. It is the freezing, it is the fear. And
you mentioned the Enugu case.
Yes.
The relatives of the victim, over 70 years grandma, was that she was left unattended to because they were waiting for confirmation from a rural specialist hospital hundreds of kilometers away, and that she may have died, though not medically confirmed, out of abandonment and some apprehension about her state.
It is also that apprehension, the freezing, the fear occasioning torment that would have killed the woman, because even the healthcare professionals that you expect to go attend to the woman, she was already a classified person waiting confirmation. So they will certainly be scared. And I want to shock you that the requisite PPE, personal protective equipment for such care, we also do not have it in abundant supply. If America is triggering their military manufacturing outfit to provide PPE for healthcare professionals, you can as well now know that we are in deficit of it. Now, there is a lot we need to do at the state level. We must begin to upscale preparedness at the state level, ranging from making personal protective equipment available to making sure, see, retail PCR facilities are not high-falutin. Some of these things come under $10,000. Why don't we have them? Why can't we sustain such facility, knowing that Nigeria, the most populous black nation on earth, that We are very vulnerable because we're highly traveled people. There is no disease that will strike the planet that will not make us catch COVID.
Very mobile traveling population. Ebuka Akubundo from our Twitter handle is coming up with his own proposition. Quite funny, maybe to some people, but it could be the magic wand. Part of the fund released by the central bank should be given to traditional medical practitioners to look inwards and harness roots and herbs that can cure the virus. Nigerians travel abroad for medical, so no plan for curtailing outbreak. Are we leaving out our tribal medical practitioners in all this? Do they have that solution? The world is searching for it. Very possible. Now going further, Elder Dare Adebanja, our good friend, is not ashamed that the House of Representative members needed to be remembered via a letter from the Chief of Staff to the President to subject themselves to routine checks at the airport. What they try not dare do abroad. Of course, we brought you that report. We say a copy of a letter written by the Chief of Staff to the Speaker of the House of Representatives with huge allegations that returning members of the House of Representatives at the airport refuse to subject themselves to medical screening because of coronavirus. And Dare Adebanjo from Kaduna State is very concerned about that. Mufti Abdul cases confirmed as of 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on 23rd of March 2020. That's about less than 30 minutes ago. 5 new cases confirmed, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 35. Active cases 32. That's those still living with the virus. Total discharge 2, including the Italian, the index case, and total deaths 1. That's the one we gave to you a while ago. In Abuja, a retiree from a federal parastatal reportedly not having confirmation and treatment. Very unfortunate. We hope that all the recommendations like Mufti Abdullah Abubakar has recommended, that we begin to put them into practice immediately. Dr. Kasmia Ifeanyi, National Publicity Secretary, Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, was joined by Dr. Faith Robert, who is a senior lecturer in the Department of Medical Biochemistry, Niger Delta University in Bayelsa State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the huge education and clarifications you have brought to our studio today, and we have shared with the rest of Nigerians. We continue on that note, disseminate information and set agenda for government on how they can become more efficient in containing the virus. My name is Amechi Anako. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a